The first thing I just wanted to ask is that I think, as I recall, you kind of got started in this whole wacky profession as a chiropractic assistant. And so I've always wondered how you transitioned from contributing to a single practice to contributing to the entire profession.
Mm. Well, I would say it was very stepwise. So from that office, which had multiple doctors, right, over the years that I worked there, the next place that I worked was for a doctor that happened to be president of their state association. And so I was tapped to sort of do a CA class or, hey, we need someone to fill in here. And that's what I did. So there was a little bit of that. And then I moved from Arizona to New York for a husband's job transfer and worked at the largest chiropractic group practice in that state, which was many, many doctors, many, many offices. And I felt like I sort of took that next step to working with that group. From there, having moved to Washington, D.C., and then working for the ACA, that's the time when I really could say that I feel like I was working for the whole profession. I worked in a department that was called Professional Development and Research, and we supported coding and Medicare and all of those things. So when I say I learned from the horse's mouth, that's kind of what it was, and became a little bit more nationally known maybe then, but I really enjoyed a fix that I knew when I talked to a medical director at a Blue Cross somewhere about a problem, they were going to fix it. And every doctor that was subject to that error that might be happening was going to get it solved. And it gave me a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah. I didn't know you were in New York. How long were you there? And were you upstate or were you in the city or where?
Stayed a little bit. I lived in a very small town called Pine Bush, known for its UFO sightings, if you ever read Outside Magazine, which is super fun. But the town where the main headquarters was Middletown, New York, maybe an hour and a half down to the city. So we did a lot of visits into the city for fun things. But it's Orange County, kind of, they say up the thruway if you live in New York. And then the offices were all around that area with daughters and sons-in-laws and daughters-in-laws and mothers and fathers, all chiropractors in this family.
Cool. Okay, so we got to the ACA. So how did you get from there into running your own business? How did that work?
Once again, a little stepwise. I had another job move at that time that my husband was moved to Denver. Always wanted to move west again after we had been back in the east. It was time to either get back, originally from Arizona, so wanted to get back in that direction. So he looked for any sort of lateral transfers he could find. And the Forest Service at the time wanted him here in Denver. So I happened to be teaching a seminar for the ACA at their annual, it's called NCLC, the National Chiropractic Legislative Conference, where everyone comes in and they go lobby the senators and all of that. And Dr. Mark Santa was in the audience, and he came up after and said, if you're ever looking for a job, we'd love to have you with Breakthrough Coaching. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I'm about to move. And it turned out that the ACA, unprecedented at the time, although they do it now, allowed me to work from home from Denver for an entire year. So when that year was culminating, I reached back out to Dr. Santa, and ultimately I became the first and only non-chiropractor coach, and then non-previous member of Breakthrough Coaching coach. And I was there for about 6 years. And had such a great learning experience and relationship there, still such a great relationship with Mark. And what I knew was that I didn't want to keep doing that broad-based type of coaching, that where I felt like my jam was, what I really got a lot of jizz out of and excited about, was when it was the coding and the billing and the compliance and all the stuff most people hate. And so when I talked about what I wanted to do and that I would be leaving, I just decided I wanted to do that on my own. And of all the things that spurred it on, so many doctors wanted someone to come in their office and do kind of an on-site visit. And Breakthrough Coaching had a policy against that. And after the 12th or 13th doctor said, gosh, I would pay you to come and spend a day with us, I decided at that point that maybe there was a market for that, and kind of started that way and moved into where I did some recorded webinars and some different things. And the next thing you know, here we are this year, 15 years later.